closet look like this? It's showing, right? Everyone can see, right? Does your closet look like this? Worst question. Does your marriage look like this? So today we are going to teach you exactly how to organize your closet. We have an awesome guest in today, and we're also going to weave in how to make your marriage better because of it. This is Leah Richeimer with the Ladies TalkShow. Stay tuned. We have an amazing show for you today. It's called what is it called? Organized Life. Organized life equals a happy wife. And we have a very awesome guest for you. Her name is Tracy Bowers, and she is the superstar organizer. She's known as the organizing queen. Since she was a little girl, she was going around organizing her neighbors' households. You know that type, whatever. Oh, obsessive compulsive disorder. No insult, because some of us also have this. It's called, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. We are going to talk to Tracy about how to organize our house with the intention of lowering our stress level so that we can have a better marriage. I'd like to welcome on the show Tracy Bowers. Tracy, welcome to the show. Hi. First of all, I love this lady. We had this awesome bonding session. And the thing that blew me away is not only, she doesn't just show before and after pictures like, here's what I did. Aren't I wonderful? Which also, maybe she is wonderful. But she says how to do it. And I think that's the secret to her success. That's the secret sauce. So let's go deep, guys. Let's go fast and deep. The very first question I want to ask you, this is is why bother trying to make the house organized when I know my husband's just going to mess everything up? Like, okay, it's fine. Like, I did the closet, and like 2 days later, no joke, everything's shoved back in there. I don't know what to do. Why should I bother? Tracy, you're on.
I'm sorry. I know it's echoing a little for me too. Why should you bother? First of all, we can't change our husbands. I think so many times I have people who are overwhelmed.
Direct.
No, I know. We want to, but we can't. And so we spend so much time being angry and frustrated because there's a mess. And it's like, I try so hard and he makes such a mess and I don't know what to do. And we're trying desperately to change our spouses, and we can't. And so if you just realize he's not going to change, what are you going to do about it? You might want to start picking up after him and not let it bother you. You want to focus on the things that he is good at and appreciate what he does well, because everybody is different. Everybody has different gifts, and organizing and keeping things neat. I mean, some people it comes naturally, and so many of us it does not. It's just something we can't do. It's overwhelming. So if you like things tidy and neat, but your husband doesn't, just clean up after him. And it's fine to do that. But the thing is, when you create a system, which we can dive into more, if we create a system where there's a place for everything in our house to go and things are labeled, it's going to make it so much easier for our family as well as for ourselves. And so
give me a timeout for 1 second, Tracy. I just want to find out from our viewers. Let me just hear back from you. Are you okay with cleaning up after your husband? I have a little bit of like a really, if both people work full time, let me hear what you have to say.
We got some hearts.
Yeah, some hearts.
So that means some people don't have a problem with that.
Right. So I mean, the question I have for you is in terms of cleaning up after him. What if both husband and the wife, but everybody's working full time? Right. She's also making all the lunches and getting the groceries done or whatever, and he just shows up, and now he's like more stuff to do. I just want clarity on how this plays out in real life.
I think there needs to be a discussion as far as, okay, these are the things I'm good at. These are the things I'm going to do. What are some things that he agrees to do, and you'd have a discussion and talk about what are you willing to do. How about if I fold all the clothes, will you help me put them in the kids' rooms? Or are you going to help put the kids to bed? I'll clean this up. You just need to discuss what each person's going to do. But cleaning up may not be his thing, or keeping things organized.
A simpler solution is to just hire Tracy.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
No,
every single time you have to
that's
put away laundry, you're coming.
Yeah, you're coming over. No,
Yeah.
so I hear that. So you're saying if there's a pre-discussion, this we talk a lot about this here. Excuse me. If there's a pre-discussion on what to do, things are going to go a lot better. So let me ask you. Let's go right into the systems. You said because I remember we were talking about this a little bit on the pre-interview where you were saying that once there's systems, the guys don't mind it as much. So what kind of systems are you talking about?
So you can go into a closet and fold everything, hang it up, and make it beautiful, and it can fall back to be a total disaster so quickly.
One day, half a day, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so quickly. Unless you create a system, and a system means you have a place for everything. It's maybe in some container of some sort, a basket or acrylic. You have drawer dividers in your drawer to keep, the pants on this side, shirt on this side. You create columns and lines in your pantry. If you show before and after pictures of, I think you have a couple.
Yes, we have. We will show the before pantry.
Right, we're like.
I think we have
do you have the
before. Maybe it's not.
This
the
thing
pantry.
keeps floating around. It's driving me crazy. Huh?
Yeah, the pantry first.
Yeah.
Are you showing the pantry? It's showing?
For all our Instagram people, look on Tracy's. It's organized with Tracy, right?
Yes.
It's organized with Tracy. Look on her site for all those pictures because we can't show them here. But
okay.
Yeah. We can have a screen here, I wonder. Anyway, whatever. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
The thing is with the pantries, it's not like we're going in and just straightening all the food, because as soon as you put something away, it's just going to move it. You start pushing things back and it just becomes a mess again. But when you put things in,
know all about it. Okay.
You label them, it creates a home for them. We even have little acrylic where you put your bottles, and it's like, well, I can see my bottles. I don't need an acrylic, but it creates a nice line, a nice column, so it stays straight, so it stays tidy. And chances are, if something is labeled, the baskets, you can't see the food so much, but you label it really big, like baking supplies or baking goods, then you can pull the whole basket out, use them, put them back, and then set them back on the counter.
That's cool. Hold on. Those are see-through baskets you're talking about so that you can see what's inside?
When we do a pantry, we do both. It's more aesthetically pleasing to have some texture and baskets and bamboo, and you mix it with acrylic or glass, but you just have a container. Some are clear, some are not. The ones that are not clear, you absolutely want to label. Some things that are clear and it's obvious what they are, you don't need to label. But everything has a home. And if you look at the before and after pictures of my pantries, there's a lot of them where we don't throw away a single thing except for the packaging. And it's amazing how much more space you have, how tidy it is, how beautiful, and it's going to be easy to keep it up because
are you talking about jar, like putting things in jar, like pouring your cereal out and putting it in a jar? That would make me crazy. Who has time for that? A cereal box lasts a week, or 3 days or whatever. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like the extra 5 minutes to do that.
For some people, it doesn't work. We organize pantries where they say, I'm not going to be dumping my cereal into a container, but so we still create a home for it. We have next to it maybe pancake mixes or granolas, and we'll put that in a basket, but it's still in its original bag, but it's now all those little things are in a basket called breakfast next to it. Again, it's a place.
You pour the pancake mix into a Ziploc bag and put it in a.
No. I'm just saying if it's something small in a little baggie, you can put it in a basket.
Oh, I see.
But if, but things like the boxes, you just keep them in the boxes. Some people like that. Some people don't mind pouring
like that.
Yeah, well, I actually find that if you, for anyone who is keeping their cereal boxes, you actually get more angry at your kids and your husband for it because the cereal is always stale. Because when they take out the cereal and pour it into their thing, they never seal it properly.
True. That's
they
correct.
never close
Yes.
the box properly, and it's always disgusting. And the minute I got those, like I saw on your site, those acrylic containers, and I put it in, number one, it looks so pretty. The cereal is way more tempting than all that colorful, I don't know, like junk that they put on their boxes. It just looks like cornflakes, yummy, crispy, and it seals, so it's never
that's true.
stale.
Less waste.
You pour it
Less
in,
waste.
you seal it, you're done. It's
And
genius.
that is the whole, right. That's exactly right. With all of the things that we move in, snacks, open box snacks, we pour them into I like to use OXO containers. You can see on my website, but it's neat. It's acrylic. It stays fresh, and you see when you're running low. I mean, if it's just in its package, you can say, oh yeah, I still have plenty of that. You pull it down and there's a little drop.
Right.
Or it gets pushed behind and you just don't know what you have.
Or you blame your husband because your husband put it back with like 3 pieces of chips left, and he put the entire box back. Exactly.
So that saves you your
It's
marriage as well.
advice.
So,
I'm
ladies,
telling
I
you.
want your opinions here. And everybody on the thing, I want your opinions on pouring things into a thing and versus not pouring them into a thing. So, Sarich just voted pouring them in. I vote that it's like the time, like I'm grocery shopping. I just want to go relax. I don't want to spend the next half an hour opening everything and pouring.
You know what though? Initially doing it, if you go in and initially do your pantry, it takes all day. I mean, for us 3 organizers come in, it takes all day to do it. But then once the system's created, on Costco Day, I mean, I've done this for years. On Costco Day, you come in, you pull a few of your snack containers on the table, and you just pour them in and put them back. Sometimes now there's a little bit in one. I'll pour that into a smaller container, wipe it out, and now pour the big bag, into the bigger container. Once you get used to that, I don't know. I've done it for years, and I have 5 children, and it's not a big deal, but it's rewarding. It just looks so beautiful, and you're not wasting food anymore. You're not buying things you don't
have any points on it?
Yeah.
I do it.
Co-
I do it at home.
You do it?
Yeah.
Don't. Cereal goes too quickly in my house. It depends. You have to weigh if the time is worth it for you or not.
Cola Girl says no. She says it's so much prettier to pour. Melissa Williams says love it. She loves the systems. I think you're having a lot of people who feel that those systems actually work.
So let me ask you this, Tracy. Also, the other thing is that, we have weird stuff in our house. Like suddenly, like we'll be there and like, oh, artichoke things with our like we do a lot of weird, we're very experimental. We do a lot of same things too, but we do a lot. I would say 10% of our groceries is completely experimental, has no place for it. What would you say about that?
Well, that would be you would put the dinner foods where the dinner foods go, and the breakfast foods where the breakfast things go. You're still creating a home. You're still creating a home for things. And if it's a lot of different jars, it's fine. It's just all the extra jars that haven't been opened yet are in an acrylic. What's nice about that though is, if you have a 15-inch deep shelf, which is pretty typical, and have a 14.5-inch acrylic, all the jars are lined up neatly in that. You just slide it out and you can see what you have and slide it back. It just keeps a nice row. And, and this is the pantry. In your bedroom, or in your drawers, to create a system, you would have drawer dividers. You want to fold things and have them standing up vertically so you see everything that you have again.
Like what? Explain.
File fold.
Like file folders, you're saying?
Yes, yeah, like file folding. So you stand, and again, you can see pictures on Instagram, Pinterest, all over the place, how you would do that. But you have it in they have like bamboo drawer expandable dividers that just kind of spring open and can create columns inside your drawer. And now you have a place for them. In your closet, you can have a basket for all like your messy bathing suits that don't fold neatly. Just throw them in a basket, but have a beautiful basket with a clip that says bathing suits. And now they're neat and tidy. They have a home, a place to go to, and they're not a mess.
So let's go there, Tracy. Explain to me why having it neat and tidy is a benefit.
Oh, because it just releases stress. When you have a big mess and you don't know what to do with, it's overwhelming. I think everybody would agree that it's just overwhelming.
What'd you say?
I have to go through my kids' closet, and every time I go in there to pull out their clothes or uniforms, I have anxiety.
Yes.
Because part of me doesn't want to get rid of certain clothes that don't fit them anymore. I don't know, should I save it? Should I give it away?
And it's
I don't
sentimental.
know.
Like you
Very
remember him in that
sentimental.
turquoise and green.
My daughter said, well, it's a boy and a girl. So my daughter said, I want to save that. I want to save that. And I have like I'm going nuts. I can't walk in there anymore. I'm like,
Okay, well, this is the deal with that. If you have things you want to save because they're a memory, you can put them in a bin. I mean, I think every child in your home should have a bin with their name on it, their treasures. So those special things stay, you just toss them in a bin. Once the bin is full, you take pictures of all the items, and then you make a digital book, and you can get rid of most of it. There's some things you still want that are, tangible that you have to hold on to. You keep them in your treasure box. But you don't want those things.
Mine would be so filled. Can you have more than one treasure box?
Yeah.
10, like 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and it depends on your space.
Sentimental people.
We always talk about zones and limits. You create a zone for whatever it is you're keeping. So your zone is your memories. You may have one or boxes per kids, whatever you fit neatly in your home. That is your zone. And then it's a limit. As soon as it's full, you can't have any more.
Right.
And that's how you should have zones and limits in every area of your home. When you're cleaning out your closet, say, okay, I have room to hang up comfortably 10 dresses. Then you keep your 10 favorite dresses and you donate the rest. Or if you want to rotate them through, you can put them in a bin and put them in your, in another area of your house or garage that there's room in. But you only are rotating those 10. So you should never have any area of your house stuffed. You should easily be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Marital actually said, phase it in. She started with baskets and gradually added the oxos. It's easy to get overwhelmed thinking you have to put every single thing in a separate container from the get-go. You started slow. And then Cola Girl said, the best way to get something done is to start, even if it's not complete when you start.
So how do you, maybe walk us through what is a start? What is a good, safe start? What area of the house would you start with? What specific project do you think is the most?
It would be, usually you want the main areas of your house. You're not going to start in the garage or in the storage room. You want what's bothering you the most.
Okay, wait, write that down. What's bothering you the most in organization? That's fantastic.
And in the area of your house where there's a lot of activity going.
I'm sorry, what?
In the area of the house where there's a lot of activity going, your command center. I mean, everybody has an area where papers drop. That's paper and clothes are the two things that are the most overwhelming for America. We have too much of those things, way too much. So much junk mail comes in.
Can I ask you a question about that? I'm sort of a little side topic or whatever. Oh, someone once told me that there are vertical people and horizontal people with paper. And I have file folders I never look at. Everything I do is sort of prioritized by what's on top. I'm definitely what's this? This is horizontal.
Yeah, and Leah, I think that is most of America. And so my solution for that, and it's been incredibly helpful for.
Let me get my notes. Hold on. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is, if you try and have a piece of paper and say, oh, it goes in this file, there's no way you're going to sit and file every time a little paper comes in. It just doesn't happen. So what I like to do is get a literature sorter for the command center in your area. And it's a cubby system. Do you know, like a paper sorter, but they have them in wood where there's little cubbies where you can put your papers and you label them. You think of the things that come into your house the most often are, things for school, or every household's different. You need to think about what are those papers that are on your desk that you don't want to leave your desk because you're taking care of them and you don't want to forget about them. So there's no way you're going to file them away. What if they're tickets to a play that you get regularly, if they're schedules for scouts, or if there's paperwork for school that comes in a lot. All those regular papers, they have paper sorters with different amounts. My favorite is one that has 24 cubbies in it. So you can
write this down so I can know this.
And it's on my website. I think my website's not up to date, but it does have this. I hope it has.
So
I think
it's 24 bins, 24 different. So you're saying there's 24 different categories of
papers
papers?
And you don't have to fill it all up. But if you look on your desk right now and say, oh, I'm keeping this because we always do this on Thursday nights, whether it's a schedule for event, you put it in the cubby and just mark it, your Thursday night activity or whatever.
And this thing sits on top of your desk, because that seems unappealing, seems kind of ugly.
And that's why they have them in all different colors. They have them in gray,
turquoise.
white,
Does it come in
wood
turquoise?
grain.
Turquoise, I might be okay. You're saying it's just a pretty box, and it holds like a piece of paper that you stick in, 24.
You can stick a bunch of papers in each cubby.
How many papers?
You can put a big stack in each cubby. The sorter that I like, you can pull the wood slats out and make one higher, like double, because I have a lot of papers in this. But these are you only keep active papers in this. And then when it gets full, you have to decide, I don't need the ones at the bottom anymore. I only need the most current. And you go through, but it's only your active paperwork.
Would drawers be prettier? And
no.
Why?
I don't like drawers because, unless you're going to do it, most people just want a quick chew, chew. They just want to throw it in, and at a glance they can see. They can see what it is, and they just put it in there. And then when you're working, it's like, it's right there. Like everybody always has one for the bills you need to pay, or bills husband needs to look at. Just coupons that you are always saving until you take them into your car. Just the things that would normally be on your desk.
Cluttering it up. That's fantastic.
Marital actually says that all these systems actually cause her not to yell at her kids as much. I think husbands are in that category too.
Right.
Aliza wants to know any hacks for folding laundry. Such a boring chore, and it gets messy so quickly.
Yes. Okay. So I have 5 children. I had a lot of laundry at home. They're all grown now, but when I was at home, a lot. We had a basket for each child in our laundry room. Luckily, I have Dan, who made me a nice cubby system for the baskets. You have to get creative depending on how much space you have. But if you're able to have and use your vertical space, if you have a small room, you can build something so it's up high. Use your vertical space, but have a basket for every member of the family. When I did laundry, I immediately pulled it out. I fold it often for my kids. And so I would just fold it right on the dryer.
Fold it often for her.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I would put every time I pulled something out, this is Joseph's, this is Chelsea's, this is Stephen's. Sometimes I'd just toss them in their baskets. If I had time, I'd fold them and set them in their baskets. If it needed to be hung up, I immediately hung it up, pulled it out of the dryer, immediately hung it up. And I had a rack a rod where I could just hang up all that laundry. So my kids, it was their responsibility to come get their baskets, take it away, and bring down dirty laundry. But never do you have big piles of clean laundry or big piles of dirty laundry. I always did laundry every single day, just because then it was never overwhelming. I did a load, dried it, threw it in their baskets. It was never a big deal if you do it regularly. And you just have to get used to
Let's get back to the other question, because I cut you off of telling us what the first start is. What would be the very first thing that you would do to get started?
Okay, and again, I'm saying if the paperwork is usually something that's really stressing people, get a literature sorter, I'm saying, and just start creating those cubbies to get the paper off the counter.
That seems like you're starting with the most stressful thing. Shouldn't you start with something that's easy, that gets you excited about it, like the kitchen junk drawer, or maybe, go through and throw out the spices that are 17 years old, things like that, like something that's an easy... Easy, what's that dopamine rush, You
do want to start small. That is true. If that's overwhelming to you, do something that you can do so you can feel that success.
Okay.
A small, just your junk drawer. That's a really fun one. People say, there's so much, it's such a mess. To do that, you want to buy a lot of little drawer organizers. You're not going to know which ones you're going to use, so you buy a bunch of them. And you take everything out of your drawer, you put the little organizers so they fit in your drawer nicely, and you start putting back only the things you want in that drawer. You'll have a bunch of little gadgets and gizmos that you do not need, you've never used, that you're going to donate. Things go in different parts of the house. You start a basket of things that go elsewhere, take it out. and just put back the pencils, the stapler, the things that are your keys, whatever you need in that junk drawer. But that's a great place to start. And it'll feel so good that you'll want to do it again. And then you move to another drawer. In your closet, because a closet can be really overwhelming too, you can pick a day where you're just going to do your pants. And so you pull out all of your pants, lay them out on your
skirts, yeah.
or skirts, whatever it is where you want to start.
Okay.
Make your bed, have a nice flat surface and a mirror so you can try things on and say, I don't use these anymore, I don't use them, or they're not my size right now. If you want to keep them, put them in a bin. Only have the clothes that you're using.
So, Tracy, can I just have a timeout here? Because that seems like that would be very stressful. Is there a way to make that less stressful, like maybe bringing a friend over? I mean, hiring everyone on the show who's watching can't hire you. You know, I mean, do you suggest when do you bring a professional in? When do you just bring your sister to sit there and say that you look fat in that, you look skinny in that? You know,
even your daughter. I mean, my girls were so good at telling me, Mom, that does not look good on you. Or, Mom, that's really flattering. And that would be fun if you had a daughter to come in and help me. Will you help me go through my clothes? That would be a great bonding time for you and your daughter, or a sister or a friend. It's overwhelming to us when it's our stuff. Yeah. So it's going to be easier for us to go to a friend and help her. So one day have your friend help you. The other day you go help her.
I like that. Sure. So nice. Make sure to have chocolate on hand. Yeah. And wine, a glass of wine, Chardonnay. Yes, let's do it. Okay.
But it would be fun, and then it's going to be fun knowing, oh, I'm helping my friend. I can't wait. She's going to help me. So offer to help your friend first.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's a good way to do it. So you're saying the start of this is something like the junk drawer. If you can get a friend over to do each other's closets, that would be another good start. What about like the bathroom, underneath the bathroom with all the stuff that is like coagulating there for 10 years?
Right.
Like, what do you think is...
What I suggest you do is first go on Pinterest or Instagram, whatever project is bothering you the most that you want to work on, that's not too big, starting small, go and find ideas. See the containers they're using, see how they do it, so you have a plan. Then you're not going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be excited. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that. I love that. And then get all the containers, overbuy and return what you don't use, because you never know exactly what you're going to use in containers.
So you're saying the thing, it sounds like what you're saying, this starts with shopping. How awesome is that? Like, get the containers first, right? Then, Pinterest, look at whatever, get the containers. Okay.
Now you look at the pictures first, and then you get
who, and I'll get to your question in a second. Who, let's say you're on a real tight budget, and I do not have $85 to buy 14 different little drawer thingies and whatever. That's cheap. They're expensive. So what would you recommend?
You get the ideas from Pinterest or whatever, and then you find something like it at the dollar store. Mm-hmm. The dollar store has tons of containers. So you find what you would like that would fit under your sink, and you want to be consistent in whatever containers you use.
Why?
So it looks cluttery if you have a million different things. A lot of times round isn't good. People buy containers because they're cute and I'm going to do something with this. I love this container. Don't do that. Containers can so quickly become clutter.
Wow. So you're saying measure your space, figure out what you need, have a plan. The other thing is, all the Cheerio boxes that you're throwing away because you're pouring them into containers, take those and cut the, and you can use those as boxes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Shoe boxes are great. Yeah. You can.
But she's stuck. Hold on, I don't hear her anymore. Do you guys hear her?
No, she's just on my Instagram.
Oh, is she? Is our FaceTime live? Hold on, we don't hear you, Tracy.
Your drawers to create.
There you are.
Oh, you're here. You're back. Okay, I'm sorry. What did you say? You were talking about shoe boxes.
And the
you can use the box and the lid. Those are great dividers. Great dividers. So there are different things around your home that you could use. Look for containers that are square. Usually is better. It fits the space better. Okay. But just to keep things separated.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you gonna
Lacey Stickley asked, "What about season clothes? Do you pack away each season, or do you keep it all in the closet?"
I
Good
keep it all
question.
in the closet because it is just, I mean, you may have real heavy jackets if you live somewhere cold that you could move out of the closet for the season and bring in more bathing suits, but I don't want to empty all of this and all of that because sometimes you use them and then it's a big job to switch it. And at what point do you switch it? Weather comes and goes, you know, as you're transitioning. It's like, I don't see how people do that unless it's obvious, you know, like I say, big jackets.
Right. No.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're like, I
Did
can
you have a
see that
question
for a
from
New
the
Yorker versus an LAer. Like someone in New
Right.
York has their summer clothes is very summer and they can never wear it in the winter. So they definitely have different seasons. LA, our city seasons are kind of like, we're only one season kind of.
Right.
So it's all mixed.
Right.
We wear winter and fall just in the middle of
Right.
everything.
If it is obvious things and you have room to hang it in a guest closet, that's ideal. Get those things out and hang it in a guest closet. And as you start using them, bring them back and you can switch a few things. But to go through your closet and totally pack up everything winter and pull out all your summer, sometimes
That's like a big moving. It sounds
each
very
time.
stressful.
Books and Birds asked, when I put things in bins, she forgets about them. Out of sight, out of mind. So how
Right.
do you control that so that you're not?
Because you don't, and that is so true. You don't want to, if you have things in bins, it has to be labeled and usually open. Like you don't want a bin with a lid on it in your closet. You know, that's forgotten and things just pile on top of it. But,
Not clear. You're talking about if it's clear, you could see what's in
Yeah.
it, right? Okay.
right. Clear, you could see what's in it.
Yeah.
But for a in a basket in a closet, if it's just the few different types of clothes you wear, you're not going to forget. If all of your tees are in one basket and it says tees, you're going to put them in there. What's nice about a basket, you want it to fill the space, is you don't have to fold everything perfectly and your closet still looks neat. But that's only going to happen if you have followed the zones and limits rule.
The what?
The zones and limits, where everything has a zone and everything has a limit.
How do you know this?
That's what she just spoke about.
Oh, she does? Oh. Where was I?
It's okay.
I was reading the
Leia's
question.
reading your notes, but I will tell you, Crappy to Happy, which we love your name. She's now happy. Said white shoe boxes are the best, and apple boxes. I'm not sure what.
Oh,
she means
yeah,
by
like an Apple
boxes.
phone comes in a little thing and you turn it
the
upside
Apple
down. Yeah.
computer?
They're very.
Oh, I thought you meant like Apple
an
crates or
iPhone,
something,
An Apple
like that.
phone. An Apple phone.
Apple
yeah,
phone
yeah,
boxes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
And
good.
that would work for junk drawers.
Yeah.
You know,
To
the
put
little
inside the little
containers,
Yeah.
things
But
separated.
she
Oh,
also
batteries. Oh, they
asked,
must-
Tracy, any advice for garage organization, best shelves to use?
If you go on my Instagram, we always, in 90% of our garages, if we need more shelving, we get the Wallen Costco shelves. They're $160. They're much more at Home Depot or Lowe's. For $160, it's a 77-inch wide shelf. It's 24 inches deep. And you can adjust it however you need to. So we adjust it according to the boxes that you're using. So you bring it down and fill every bit of space. And at the end, you know, you have more space for tall things. But I love how easy they are to install and how they're so adjustable.
And you want them rolling or you don't want them rolling?
No, these are not rolling.
Oh, okay,
They're
fine.
just freestanding.
You
Freestanding.
can get rolling. There's different types of shelves, but just for the basic, for the garage, you want heavy duty. They have other 18-inch shelves and you can get wheels on those. It depends on your space, but we always go to Costco first.
Okay,
Love
fine.
it.
So what I was reading when she was telling her thing,
Yeah.
like I wasn't paying attention, which I wasn't because I wanted to make sure we covered all the points. We only got to one of the points that you said.
I know.
We want to make sure by the end of the day. So I just want to start a little bit about kids because a lot of people have a lot of kids and this is a big problem. And you had, when we were doing the pre-show interview, she had really, really good thoughts on it. Let's spend a few minutes on that and then I'm going to go right to the other points. We want to make sure we cover everything today. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, I
down?
want. So the thing is that the people have the questions about, you know, I tell my kids it's like ridiculous getting them to to clean their room. It's just like the biggest bane of my existence. I've got a teenager. I've got 3-year-olds.
I want to tell you about this because this is so important. We throw our kids in a room and say, you need to clean your room. You can't come out to your room clean. It's clean. And they shut down. You know, they'll sit in there for hours and I can't do it. It's like, you know where your clothes go? You know, I've worked with moms who are so frustrated. Well, I'm there. I'm going to have my kid clean their room while we're organizing. It's so overwhelming for a child. I have to stop saying kid. we need to help them. So often we feel like it's their room, they can take care of themselves. There's times that you need to help your teenager, help them create systems. You want to make sure their room is minimal.
More shopping, buy more bins.
No, and not so much bins in their room, more just dividers, and they're not that expensive. You get them on M-Design on Amazon for the bamboo dividers, so much less expensive than at like the Container Store. So go check out that. But you want to go through the room with your child, create systems, create zones and limits for everything in their room. And once you've set that up with them, they're still going to make a disaster at times. And you're going to want to say, we already put that together. You know where everything goes. You need to put it away. No, it's overwhelming. There's nothing wrong with us. I think as moms, to go in, help them get started when they're overwhelmed. Make it fun. It has to be a pleasant experience or they're gonna hate it. Turn on music, have fun with them. Set a timer, play, make it a game. And just make it fun for your kids and do it with them often until it gets to the point where they are comfortable at doing it.
That's great.
And teach them
what
started.
is the thing? Teach a fish. What is it? How do you go? Come on. How do you do
fish?
No, yeah. Teach a man. Hold on a second.
How to fish.
Thank you.
And then
No,
you can
give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
Right, and
Teach a man to fish, he fishes for a lifetime. So you're saying like teach the kid how, to get into it. And now I could see that working very well with girls, not so much with boys.
And it may be harder with boys, but first of all, you have to have a minimal amount of stuff in their rooms. So often those rooms that are just piles of a mess, it's because there is too much in their room. Anything, if you have games or puzzles or things for smaller kids, put them up as high as possible so they're not just getting pulled out and pouring all over this place. Your drawers, if you do all the laundry, fold it all, put it in their drawers. If it's stuffed or you have to stick some on top of the counter, you have too many clothes for your kids. How many clothes do your kids really need? My kids, again, I have 5 kids. I'd go out and they'd have maybe 5 pairs of pants in their drawer and 10, maybe 15 t-shirts. They didn't need any more than that. How many times do they just wear the same outfit? Their favorite shirts. 15 t-shirts for school is plenty. They don't need more than that. So decide what fits in their drawers comfortably and get rid of the rest. And then it's not so overwhelming. They have a place for it. Right. And then there's not so much laundry that they're dealing with. So when you put a basket of laundry, it's only a few things, because after they've worn those few things, you have to wash it. You're just not dealing with so much of a mess. And a lot of times that's our fault. And we too need to be an example. We can't tell our kids, go clean your room, it's a disaster, if our room is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah, we've got a lot of engagement, by the way. I just want to get to Sylvia Wiggs says, I personally hate containers with lids because too many steps to take out, open, and remove, and close back and put back in. Right. Campbell said, Tonia Campbell said, Tracy, I have 23-inch deep pantry shelves. What do you recommend using for such depth?
Okay. Oh, 23 inches. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Those are the ones you said at Costco. That's the ones you recommended at Costco.
No, but those are in the garage. Yeah, I think for a pantry.
Yeah. No, for the pantry, when you do that, the largest acrylic they have is 16 inches deep. You want to get that 16-inch deep acrylic, and like you put your bottles in it where they can just slide it out, slide it back. But you put the same kind of bottles behind it if you have more, so you're using all of that space. But you're still pulling in, pulling out. You don't need what's in the back until those things are done. Then you can grab and add them. But they have 16-inch deep acrylic. They have it 4 inches wide. They have it 6 inches wide and 8 inches wide. So you want to see what fits in your closet, in your pantry, and just pull those things out. For snacks and things, if you put them in the OXO containers, you stack them in front. And then the boxes you haven't opened yet, you keep in the back.
Oh, the extras.
Everything that you're using is always pulled forward. So you have it, and I really recommend getting canisters or OXO containers if you do have pantries that deep. So it can be brought forward and you see what you have.
You're getting a lot of love. And then Crappy to Happy said, yes, Tracy, when I was a kid, my mom did that. And I shoved everything into the closet and seriously thought I did an awesome job.
Right.
So,
Not really. Right?
yeah.
Well, and that's what, back to the room, when they are overwhelmed, teach them to do one thing at a time and do it with them to get started. Say, let's see if we can get all the books, and then you put the books away. And then you say, okay,
Pants.
fold them and put them in the drawer. Now let's gather all of our shirts. Let's fold them. Let's put them in the drawer or in the dirty clothes. And back to the lids, especially people with ADHD, the fewer the steps, the easier it is. So if you have a hamper and clothes are just always on the outside of the hamper, you may complain that your husband doesn't throw them in the hamper. He just throws them in a pile next
That's
to the
my next
hamper.
question. Okay, yeah.
Take the lid off and throw it away. You don't want lids on hampers. You want to be able to just check them in there, you know? And
One less step.
if you have like coats or things, make things as easy for kids as possible. Have hooks on the back of their doors or inside their closet where they can just hang their big sweatshirt, their big coat, because it's hard for kids to hang up a lot. So you can get beautiful hooks that look beautiful in a room where they can just hang up, their clothes that they want to wear again. It's not too dirty. They want to wear it again. They can just hang them on the hook, but then it's off the floor. And also for the bathroom.
A lot of hooks. That's great. Yeah.
No, and command hooks are great. It doesn't ruin the wall, or the doors. You can put them anywhere.
What were you going to say? But in the bathroom?
Well, again, assign a color towel to each child in your household, and whoever has, when they're done with their towels, they don't want people to wipe their mouth on them. They can come and hang that on the back of their door as well, their towel.
Wow.
But then they're accountable for it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of lids, Tracy, what do you do with Tupperwares? I know every woman has this problem in their kitchen. Any suggestions on how to find the lids when we can never find them?
It depends on the space in your house because everybody's is a little different. But first of all, you pull it all out, make sure everything has a lid. Anything that does not have a lid, get rid of. Okay, we're donating all that. Now, everything you want to keep has a lid. You've created a zone. You only want enough Tupperware that fits in this drawer. Okay, so see what fits comfortably, donate the rest. Okay, but if you want, it depends on the containers. Sometimes we just stack them and put the the lids underneath. Sometimes we have the lids, we get a drawer, expandable divider, like I was talking about, in the corner of the drawer, and you just stand up all the lids on the side. So, that's another way. Or you can put an acrylic inside the drawer and stand them up if it's deep enough, and that works.
Okay, it's great. I want to get right to the heart of how organizing, it's called Organized Life, Happy Wife. I want to cover 2 points before we finish up today. One is I want to talk about the advantages to ourselves, our stress level. And then the second thing, and more important to our conversation, I want to talk about its effect on our relationship and how we can get our husband on board with all of this.
Right. It definitely affects our relationship, I think, and how we feel about ourselves. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. When things are in order, we feel better, so we're going to be a better wife. We're going to be nicer. If we get rid of that mentality that our husband's a slob, so I'll never be, it's all his fault, our house will never be clean. You've got to get rid of that. Do what you can to make it as, the most organized. You set up systems, and then you're going to see family members. If there's something's labeled, chances are it's going to go back, like I said. It's going to make you feel successful. You'll feel happier. When you're happy, you're going to have a better relationship, And if you're not angry with your husband about it, you're going to have a better relationship. With your kids, you're not going to be screaming at them. If there's systems, it's going to be easier. Can I just share one thing that we did with my kids when we were young?
Yeah.
I'm an extremely organized person, but I had 5 kids and lots of friends, lots of activities. So there were times that our house was an absolute disaster. But the difference is everything had a place. So when it was time to clean up, we could clean up quickly, you know? So what my husband would do is say, he'd turn on the music and say, attention. And all the kids would have to run down. He's like, Operation Cleanup. And so we'd turn on the music and we'd have 10 minutes where the kids would run around and put things away. And they could gather how many things are in their arms and they'd put it away. And they're laughing, they're having fun, the music's blaring. And it's amazing when all those hands at one time for 10 minutes can put things away. We were able to do that because it's going to be a mess. You have to just realize that and not get out
So what
yourself.
about that one kid, you've got the 5 kids and 4 of them are really at it. And what about that one kid who isn't?
The one kid who is slower. Oh, well, everybody is different and you cannot get angry. It makes me feel bad just because I do have a son who struggles with this and he has so many amazing qualities and so gifted and so talented. That was really hard for him. I'm not going to get mad at him because he's going too slow or gets confused and doesn't know what to do. Don't get mad at them. Then they're going to hate. They're going to resent people making them clean up. Say, hey, I know he's slower. Let it go.
So the other kids are saying, it's not fair. I did the whole table and he only brought one book up to the thing and blah, blah, blah.
You just say, hey, he's doing the best he can. And you did better. You did great. Focus on them. Awesome. Yeah, you did pick up so much. Good for you. Turn the focus away from that and positive on him. It has to be fun and positive. Then you're going to have a happy household.
Okay, so now with your husband, you're married now 19 years, and your husband's always leaving his stuff on the thing. He comes in, he throws his coat on the couch, he takes his shoes off. They're always like right when you're going to trip on them, right when you come out of the kitchen, there they are. And this has been this bone of a contention for 19 years. How do you solve it?
And has it helped?
There you go. How's that working for you? Right.
It's not working for you.
It's not working, right.
So from now on, if those shoes bother you, just say, they really bother me. I'm going to just put them away. You just start putting them away. Hang up his coat. If his coat always drops right next to the couch, put a coat rack right next to the couch. So it's easy for him to put it on the coat rack instead of the floor. Think of if his shoes always go here, maybe you could have a nice little basket next to where they always drop and say, oh, when you get home, you always seem to drop your shoes here. Will you just toss them in the basket, an open basket? Make it easy for him. See what you can do to help where they're landing already to make it more organized.
That's awesome. But how do you get over the resentment? Like, if you're cleaning up after your husband, you're going to all this effort. You clean the junk drawer. You cleaned your underneath the bathroom thing. Now you can find everything you need, the soaps, the lotions.
And then once you've done that, it is going to be easier for him to do it too, because you've now created a system and it's labeled. So it is going to be easier, and you'll be surprised at how much better it will.
How do people find the time to do this? Because it just seems like, how do they?
You're looking at the whole picture and you're getting so overwhelmed. Focus on those little things that are bothering you. Are the shoes always right here? Maybe you could get a little shoe rack with shelves so that you can pick them up and it looks nicer. Just do one area at a time and reward yourself for that. Start with making your bed every day. I don't have that quote with me, but somebody made a quote about how just making your bed every day gives that first step of success. You're feeling good. Makes your whole room feel better. Teach your children to do that too, but make the bed with them. Take off maybe the sheet that they don't use the sheet if they're only using the blanket. Make it simple as possible. And then, teach them that this is a good thing, even if it's just throwing the blanket forward and throwing the pillow.
There's some people who, are probably eating this all up and like, yeah, whatever, and starting to make lists and thinking in their head, okay, yeah, junk drawer, actually, yeah, that would really feel good. Or Mike, the closet, that would feel really good to do. But there are other people who would just like see that, are interested in this. They see the value in it. They're aggravated about it. But the thought of actually sitting down and starting, what would you advise them?
To ask their friend or their mom or their child to help them. I mean, even again, asking a child even to help. Hey, Susie, you're so good at this. help me do this. Will you help me do this? How come you're so good at it? Find somebody to help you.
Even if you got like a babysitter, down the street and say, listen, I don't want you to babysit. I just want you to come. Sometimes just doing it with somebody there, just gets you to do it because you scheduled this time. They showed up. It's 3:00 in the afternoon. Well, that's a crazy hour or whatever.
Perfect, Leah. That is perfect.
Yeah.
That's a fabulous idea.
Yeah.
So get somebody to help. But don't get at yourself. I mean, some people get so depressed and so overwhelmed because their mind just can't do it. Sometimes they just can't do it and they want it so bad. And then they just get knocked down and they're so overwhelmed. Just know that not everybody is good at this. Sometimes you are going to just need help, whether it's paying a teenager, somebody at your church who their mom has said, oh, they're so good at this. Hire them, even if, they're just 14 years old. Their mom has said they're really good at that.
And also, if people are on budgets, trading is good. Like, if you come help me do this, I'll watch your kids. You can go, leave them here for 4 hours. You go shopping, you go do a thing or whatever. You can trade.
Right.
You can also find a lot at Ross. Ross has good
baskets.
They have baskets.
Oh, that's good.
I buy hangers that are one color.
Right.
To me, walk into my closet.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
So Leah, can we schedule some time for you to come over?
Yeah, there we go. But here's the thing. Also, I want to get back to the husband though, because I think there's a. I think if you were to ask most women, and there was 1,000 women in the room, and I said, okay, everybody, raise your hand if you resent your husband because you do more in the house than he does. Every hand would go up. And now we're saying, okay, also, besides what you already do, also make a basket, find a basket for his shoes, go hang his coat up for him if he's not doing it. So where do we go with the resentment? Where do we go with now I get it, setting up systems, that could help a little, but it doesn't take the anger away.
I think we just need to find the things he's good at and focus on that. And just, being resentful that he doesn't do it is not going to make him do it. And it's eating us up and it's making him angry. That's what I do, but I have that conversation again is, okay, I'm doing this and this and this. What are some things you want to do? Let's figure it out. And
so I wonder if we, Tracy, institute a household organization date night or whatever. It doesn't have to happen. I'm talking about one particular conversation that they could have with their spouse. We talk a lot in here about, rather than keep banging your head against the wall, banging your head and being upset, put the problem in his hand. Go out in a very nice way, in a yummy way, and say, I love you, everything that you do for the family, but here's an issue we have as a family. It's not my problem. How can we do it together? So if you were to sit down with him and say, listen, I'm really getting a little bit motivated. I know our junk drawer has been a mess. I know that you can't find any kitchen gadgets. I know that you have a lot of different issues that you're trying to solve in the marriage, in the household or whatever. Oh, hi. Sorry, someone's walking in, so I'm a little distracted. Nice to see you. You can have a seat right over here. Thank you for coming. So the issue is we're on live now. Yoo-hoo! Okay, so here's the situation is that we have a donor. She's donating $1 million to us. Oh, joking. Don't worry. She's got all freaked out. Okay, so I'll introduce you to everybody. So here's the thing is that you go on a date night with your husband and you sit there and you say, listen, I want to I'm really motivated now. I know the house, the kids were very, very young, whatever. Now it's hip and cool to organize. I'm somehow motivated. I looked at Pinterest. I looked at Tracy's website. I watched Ladies TalkShow and I'm making this happen. Here's the problem. I really don't know how to do it with the kids. I really don't know where to start. I'm thinking the junk drawers, that's calling my name or whatever. Actually, first I want to start with my car. My car is a disaster. It's got old wrappers from whatever. So, let me start there, whatever. I've picked my first project. My problem that I'm worried about is that I don't want my newfound inspiration and motivation to make things difficult for you. So how do you think we can get on board where you can like,
that's great.
you know, and maybe if I do this and I'm doing good, maybe you take me out to dinner every once a month, or maybe, you know, if every time I do it, then you buy me a piece of jewelry if I can get 3 rooms done. I'm big into jewelry. Thank you, this jewelry lady. So, you know, it's something like that. Set up a system where he's totally on board with you, and like when he goes and he's going to throw something, you know, his shoes down or whatever, he is totally on board, and realize you're just trying to make his life better. And maybe in that conversation, you could also say to him, like, listen, would I be in a dream world that you now are also motivated? You're going to sit with me and go through this stuff in the junk drawer, okay? In an ideal world, and go through my closet with me. I'm not asking you that. I don't want to make you a headache. You work so hard. You do so much for me. You give me support and love, and you're such a great husband. I don't want to put you in that situation, and I don't want you to commit to something that then you're going to fall back on. Not that you don't. This is getting really weird, because then he'll think, oh, she thinks I don't follow through. But I'm just saying, make it in a way that is so irresistible that he wants to be on board with you and wants to make you happy. And if you don't make it extra things for him to do, he might just surprise you.
Books and Bird actually said, my husband is so appreciative when I make an effort to make it easy for him that he's more willing to do it. And we actually had someone who said that she does the shoe thing by the couch, which has been a huge changer.
Awesome.
And one of Desert Living said she told her kids when they asked, why doesn't Daddy do chores? She told them, Daddy pays the mortgage, and that's his biggest chore. So she made them appreciate that.
I love that.
Actually, Lisa said that the wife should organize the house, but let her husband's office look like any way he wants, without touching it. So he knows he has his
amazing.
Space,
You're amazing.
and this way he will be more willing to help in the rest of the house because
our time is up. Our time is up. Last thing, Tracy, we have one last point you want to make here. We've got another 30 seconds.
One last point. Just, I don't know, I had lots of points. Just make sure cleaning is fun. Organizing is fun. Make it a happy experience for your house, and don't beat yourself up if it's not perfect. Just do little chunks at a time.
That's great. Awesome. Tracy, thank you so much for being here. We can reach you at Organize with Tracy on Instagram, and you also have a website, but go right there, sign up, subscribe. This is Leah Richeimer with Ladies Talk Show. Subscribe here if you haven't already. Click on everything you need to click on so you can get more content. Okay, thank you. This is Leah Richeimer with Ladies Talk Show. See you next time. Thanks, Tracy. Bye.